Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 51st Annual U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony. Please join us in welcoming our Master of Ceremonies tonight, one of the sport television's most iconic personalities, Mr. Steve Levy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege to welcome you to Boston, Mass. and tonight's United States Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony as we welcome the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame class of 2023. Our first honoree is one of only 2 Americans as 8 individuals ever to officiate more than 2,000 regular season games in the NHL. His 32-year career also included assignments to work 9 Stanley Cup Finals and more than 300 playoff games. If it was a big game, he was more than likely wearing the stripes on the ice. He's also worked the Olympics and the World Cup of Hockey and been an important mentor to young officials for many decades. With his wife Lisa, children Casey and Shayna, from Dover, New Hampshire, please give a warm welcome to Brian Murphy.
Thanks, Dave. You got it. Congratulations. Thank you all.
Our next inductee had a decorated playing career in the National Hockey League spanning 16 full seasons, including 2 Stanley Cup titles, first with the Dallas Stars in 1999, where he tallied 10 goals and 7 assists in the playoffs, and then with the New Jersey Devils in 2003, when he led the NHL with 18 playoff points. He was also a regular representative on the international stage for Team USA, including the 1998 Olympic Winter Games and again in the 2010 Olympics, where he captained Team USA to a silver medal in Vancouver. Joined by his wife Elizabeth, daughter Lane, and sons Landon and Mason from Cloquet, Minnesota, please give it up for Jamie Langenbrunner.
Hi, buddy. Congratulations to you all.
Our next inductee was one of the most prolific goal scorers on the international stage during her nearly decade-long run with the U.S. women's national team. She's a 3-time Olympian and in 1998 helped Team USA win the first ever gold medal award in women's ice hockey in the Olympic Games in Nagano, Japan. She is also a 6-time medalist in the IIHF Women's World Championships, including helping the U.S. to its first ever gold medal in 2005. And today, she has built a powerhouse women's hockey program down the road at Boston College, where she serves as head coach. Joined by her husband, Ted, and daughter, Cameron, from Salem, New Hampshire, please give a warm welcome, Katie King Crowley. Who wants to follow that? This guy. There's not much in hockey our next honoree hasn't done, and his big presence in the game has been an important contributor to the advancement of our sport over many decades. His professional career has included stops at 6 NHL teams, including helping the Anaheim Ducks win the club's first and only Stanley Cup title in 2007. He's worked in the NHL front office and has played a big part in helping the U.S. men's national team program, including serving as general manager of the silver medal-winning 2010 U.S. Olympic team. And today, he's involved as the first executive director of the Professional Women's Hockey Leagues Players Association. Joined by his partner, Odie, and children Patrick and Katie from Edina, Minnesota, please welcome Brian Burke. No, thank you. It's not often that you play your entire professional career with one team, but that's exactly what our final inductee did. His 18-year journey with the Los Angeles Kings was one for the record books, filled with big goals, a physical presence that found him as the all-time NHL hits leader at the time of his retirement, and of course a pair of Stanley Cup titles. He was a force on the international stage for Team USA as well, playing in 2 Olympics, including helping the U.S. earn a silver medal at 2010 in Vancouver as the alternate captain. With his wife Nicole and children Jake, Mason, Cooper, and Mackenzie from Ithaca, New York, please welcome Dustin Brown. Looking sharp, looking sharp. What a night. What a room. Take a look around for a second. We are surrounded by titans of industry, captains of business, captains of hockey teams, leaders in the community from all walks, education, and entertainment. Taylor Swift is here tonight, and she will perform. So really, how did hockey miss the boat on that one? We couldn't find one young, muscular, energetic guy with personality, no? She wouldn't have been interested in a hockey player, really? We got to give that to the NFL, too? If nothing else, maybe this speeds up NHL expansion to Kansas City. Wait, now I'm told Taylor's actually not here tonight. Small consolation. I'm here. And it remains an honor and a privilege to stand in front of you for a variety of reasons. I missed the last couple seasons. I missed the people at USA Hockey dearly those last couple of years, and it's great to be back. For many of us, myself included, we get to celebrate our favorite sport in our favorite city, and I think I can speak for all of us, in our favorite country. This is the ultimate hat trick here tonight. I do have some connection with all of tonight's inductees. I feel as if I called almost every big game Jamie Langenbrunner played in. I also can empathize with him. Is it Langenbrunner or Brunner? Levy, I get it all the time. So I feel that 99 Cup, though, that was among my favorite Stanley Cup finals of all time. I interviewed Dustin Brown on the ice both times after winning the Stanley Cup for the Los Angeles Kings. I used to summer with the Crowleys. It was one summer, one night, but we had a hell of a time. I'm most looking forward to Burke's speech. I was curious how he was going to tie his tie tonight, and now we all know. I've always enjoyed our conversations, and deep down, I honestly had hoped we'd always work together. So we'll work together tonight. And as the players got younger and I got older, and the players take better care of themselves and I take worse care of myself, I found myself gravitating more to those wearing the stripes. They're a lot more fun to hang out with. So congrats to Brian Murphy. He and his colleagues are the unsung heroes, the gatekeepers of our game. And I'm quick to remind anyone who will listen, there are 3 teams on the ice every single night, and only one of those teams never gets to play a single home game. They're always on the road. So I cheer for them. They're my favorite team. So cheers to you, Brian, and all our inductees tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, nights like this are not possible without the support of many partners. I'd like to ask you to join me in thanking the Boston Bruins and the National Hockey League for their platinum-level support of tonight's event. And also to the National Hockey League Players Association, the New York Islanders, the New York Rangers, and the Los Angeles Kings for their support as diamond-level partners. And we also extend a tip of the cap to the many other partners and also to all of you coming out to celebrate our wonderful sport and those we're rightfully honoring here this evening. The 2023-24 season is a historic one for the Boston Bruins. They're the very first American club to celebrate 100 years in the NHL. And to welcome us here tonight, my great pleasure to introduce the Chief Executive Officer of the Bruins. Here's Mr. Charlie Jacobs.
also was wondering whether Burke was going to tie his tie tonight. It's good. Hey, listen, thank you very much for being here. We are really proud to host this year's U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony, especially since the Bruins are celebrating our centennial season. A very special congratulations to this year's class, including the Boston Bruins' own Jamie Langenbrunner. Well-deserved, Jamie. You have all advanced our sport with your talent, your passion, and your commitment to the game. We also have former Bruins goalie coach Joe Bertagna being honored with the Lester Patrick Trophy. Now, Joe has done much for both men's and women's hockey in Boston, and congrats on the recognition, Joe. It's very well deserved. I would be remiss if I didn't point this out. The fact that all of this year's inductees have some sort of connection to Boston or New England represents no coincidence. For hockey is more than just a sport here in Boston. It is the heartbeat of our city, of our state, and our region. Whether it's street hockey in the summers to pond hockey and backyard rinks in the winters, it is always hockey season here in New England. And speaking of backyard rinks, I built my own fair share in my own backyard. And let me tell you, there was not necessarily a lot of engineering in those early years of my backyard rinks. In fact, the first year that I built a rink, I could not figure out why I had great ice on one side, and I really couldn't get good ice on the other side. But I had young kids that really wanted to play the sport, so we got out there, and sure enough, after a few minutes of shinny, my youngest went to the far end of the rink and ended up waist deep in water. So here's a lesson and my advice to all of you here. Don't build your backyard rink over your own septic system in the house. But no matter the season, our region has been breeding ground for hockey talent for well over a century. And it starts with a strong network of youth hockey programs. And it continues in the high school ranks and then into college hockey, with our beanpot schools like Boston College, Boston University, Harvard, and Northeastern, and they just represent the tip of the iceberg in terms of teams and talent. And when it comes to the National Hockey League, the Bruins have been pioneers in growing our game. For over the past century, as the first U.S.-based team in the National Hockey League, the Bruins have been instrumental in spurring the growth of hockey in both local and national. Off the ice, the Bruins' commitment to youth hockey development through our Learn to Play program has made the sport more accessible than ever before. In 2023 alone, our Learn to Play program will have seen over 3,300 kids, including more than 1,000 girls. They are participating in over 365 clinics. And those numbers show our collective commitment to growing the game that we all know and love. Now, as we look forward, we continue with our goal to positively shape the future of our great sport. We aim to inspire, to innovate, and to pave the way for the next generation of athletes and fans by fostering youth development, promoting inclusivity, and building connections throughout our region to ensure that we have future New Englanders being inducted into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, just like we have them here tonight. I hope to see you all at the TD Garden tomorrow night as the Bruins take on the Buffalo Sabres, so you can see for yourself the electricity and the excitement that the Boston Bruins bring to our city. Please enjoy the evening, and congratulations to this year's class.
It's another home game. This guy could also have taken the T over here. USA Hockey is the caretaker of this wonderful institution we know as the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Please join me in welcoming the Executive Director of USA Hockey and a native of nearby Belmont, Massachusetts, Mr. Pat Kelleher.
Finally, they got my music right there. I've been asking Fish for years on that. Thank you, Steve. I think I can speak for everybody in this room. We are honored to have you here tonight. We appreciate all that you do. And do you have a pen so I can scratch out my Burke tie joke here? Get rid of that. Thank you for being here with us, Steve. It makes this event even more special for everybody. As a local, it is always fun, or dare I say, wicked fun, to be home here in Boston. To borrow a phrase from our friends with Massachusetts Hockey, I am Mass proud, and thrilled to be here tonight with our hockey friends and family. So many people in this room, it's amazing. I have one of my oldest friends in the world here tonight with us, as well as my mother Mara and my brother Brendan. So thank you all for being here to join us to celebrate all these incredible people. There are so many people that have meant so much to the game of hockey here in this great state and throughout New England, as has been referenced tonight and by Charlie. You know, we celebrate 5 icons of our sport tonight with the ultimate individual honor, the recognition and the enshrinement into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Dustin, Katie, and Jamie, what fun it was for all of us to watch you compete and play such a big part in the success of your teams along the way. From Stanley Cups to Olympic medals, you have each positively impacted our great sport and inspired so many kids to play the game. And Kinger, we're glad to finally have a Brown University here tonight on the house. We're proud of that, so thank you. Brian Murphy, congratulations on more than 30 years an official in the National Hockey League and doing it at the highest level while always making time to give back to the next generation of officials. Truly amazing and remarkable, and we appreciate that. And Brian Burke, simply put, our sport, American hockey, and USA Hockey are all better because of your contribution, so thank you. Congratulations to our entire class. On behalf of our president, Mike Trimboli, who's here with us tonight, and the more than a million players, coaches, officials, staff, and volunteers who make up USA Hockey, our most sincere and heartfelt congratulations to each of you, as well as to your family and friends. I think you'll all probably recognize them tonight, and we recognize you wouldn't be here without their support, so thank you to all the families. I'd also like to offer a big congratulations to the pride of Arlington, Massachusetts, next door to Belmont, our own Joe Bertagna, who's receiving the Lester Patrick Trophy tonight. Joe is someone who has been an unbelievable contributor to hockey across the country, but certainly here in New England for more than 5 decades, and we've all benefited in some way from Joe's involvement in hockey. So Joe Bertagna, thank you and congratulations. Certainly nights like this don't come together without a lot of support from the hockey community, and we are all blessed to be a part of a very, very special hockey community. And I want to especially thank Charlie Jacobs and the Bruins. It's an honor to be here as part of your 100th anniversary celebration for the Bruins. Your hospitality is tremendously appreciated. We look forward to celebrating again with your team tomorrow night. So thank you to Charlie and the Bruins and everyone who's here from the Bruins to be with us. We have our friends Gary Bettman and Bill Daly here with us tonight. We could not have 2 greater supporters of hockey in our country or supporters of USA Hockey. They're incredible partners. We appreciate, Gary and Bill, all the support and all that you do for USA Hockey, and welcome you and lots of other NHL staff members that are here tonight. We also have plenty of people from other NHL teams. We have the commissioner of the American Hockey League, Scott Housen, here with us tonight. We have college hockey commissioners, coaches, administrators, almost every level of hockey that we represent at USA Hockey. We have our friends from the USHL, Glenn Heffer and Dan Lev, among others. Again, thank you for everyone for being here. It's such a great celebration of our game, and what you do in the field is really what makes this all come together. At the risk of causing an uproar here, I want to especially recognize the NHL Officials Association group. I think they go from table like 2 here all the way back to the end of the room. We've had a couple of officials here. The celebration, the support of the other officials here for Brian is amazing. We also have the BC women's hockey team here. Where's that crowd? A little noise for Coach Crowley. Eagles, welcome to have you great here. And then this other crowd, you probably heard them already. We have many members of the Hall of Fame members from our 1998 Women's Olympic gold medal team. There's that crew. They'll be louder later, just trust me. It's great to have them here. And as always, it's special to have the members of the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame and Museum Board of Directors. They're based in Evelyn, Minnesota. They are the caretakers of the museum, and they do a tremendous job. Where's that crowd? They're always loud, too. All right, there they are. Thank you. Your work is very much appreciated by all of us. We thank you for what you do. I want to thank our staff. Dave Fisher and his crew do an unbelievable job. Madison Brown, I know, talking to our inductees today, they were taken care of in a first-class way, and so we appreciate that. Finally, a special welcome and thank you to all of our friends from Massachusetts Hockey who are here, the locals that make the game happen here. We also have a big crew here from New York State representing, so we appreciate all of them, what they do, and that's what USA Hockey is, the grassroots people that make hockey go in rinks and communities around the country. So we thank everyone for their efforts. This is truly one of the best nights on the calendar for USA Hockey, a great celebration of our game and a great celebration of some incredible people. And it's the community and the camaraderie that makes our sport so special. So thank you all for being here. Enjoy the evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, the late Jim Johansson, who was enshrined in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame a year ago, had such an enormous impact on our sport. I know many of you here tonight either knew Jim or are aware of his story. It's great, by the way, to have his brother John with us tonight from his home in the Twin Cities. Thank you for coming. So the USA Hockey Foundation is the silent phase of an upcoming capital campaign which includes an effort to raise $5 million overall, inclusive of $2.5 million to name the main rink at USA Hockey Arena after Jim Johansson. So tonight, I did the math for you. Our challenge is to make a big dent in that $2.5 million goal to name the rink after JJ. And with any luck, maybe we get the whole thing taken care of. Tonight, we've got a couple hours together. So tucked in your program is a sheet with instructions as to how you can contribute, and you can also see the information on the screens. Hopefully everyone in this room can do a little something. Every bit helps. USA Hockey Arena is the home for all of our country's national team programs, also contributes to the foundation of our sport with programs for players of all ages as well as coaches and officials. So you see on the screen there's this giant blanket here. There's only one. I'm going to start the bidding. We have more than one blanket, people. Stay with me, all right? Massachusetts winters can be tough. I know it says donate $150 or more and receive this limited edition Massachusetts-themed USA Hockey wool blanket. It's so limited. We only got about 1,000 of them in the room. But anyway, donate $150 or more. I'm going to donate $1,000 myself because I really want this particular blanket. So you can't have it. Now, again, you don't have to outbid me, okay? You can bid $1,000 and get your own blanket as well. But for $150, $150, you'll walk away with. And I would put this on, but I would melt, and it would be embarrassing, mostly for me and everyone else. Also, by the look of the median age in this room, like me, you might be afraid of QR codes. And so I am told for that very reason, they'll take cash in the back also, okay? So if you need help during dinner, Tammy, Sheila, Christina from the USA Hockey Foundation staff, they'll be at the back of the room to assist. That's also where you can claim your blanket at the end of the evening. Cash, credit cards, personal checks, whatever you got. Again, for those afraid of a QR code. One final thing, and this is big and it's important and it's great. John Johansson has pledged tonight to match every single dollar raised up to $100,000. So, there you go. John really wants to give all of that money, so let's do what we can for John and make sure none of that $100K stays in the room, all right? Let's get it all out on the table. So I'm going to put this blanket. Nobody try to take this. It's mine. We've really upgraded because a couple of years ago it was a scarf. Ladies and gentlemen, the prestigious Lester Patrick Trophy is awarded each year by the National Hockey League for outstanding service to hockey in the United States. Please turn your attention to the screens to learn more about the life of Lester Patrick.
Lester Patrick was a hockey visionary who, along with his brother Frank, were responsible for many of the rules the league has lived by since the early 1900s. Changing on the fly, blue lines, penalty shots, and the numbered jersey were a few of the Patrick's innovations to the game on the ice. The Patrick brothers are credited with the creation of the playoff system, unheard of in pro sports at that time. Lester Patrick's pro hockey roots can be traced back to 1904, when he embarked on a playing career that would include winning 2 Stanley Cup titles before retiring from play in 1922. In 1926, Lester Patrick was lured to New York to become the first GM and coach of the New York Rangers. Under his tutelage, the Rangers established a winning way and captured 3 Stanley Cups. Lester Patrick stayed on with the Rangers organization until his passing in 1960, but the Patrick name and legacy lived on in his children and grandchildren, who have flourished in the NHL as players, coaches, and executives. The Patricks are considered hockey's royal family. In 1966, the New York Rangers began presenting the Lester Patrick Trophy annually. The award is given to deserving figures in hockey for their outstanding contributions to the sport in the United States.
It's remarkable the way the game of hockey has been accepted into the hearts of the great American century. And I honestly believe that its possibilities have merely been scratched.
Imagine if you couldn't change on the fly, right? What would we do there? Every shift would be an Alex Kovalev shift. Look it up, kids. To present the Lester Patrick Trophy, he is a member of the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame class of 2019 and the longest-serving commissioner in all of professional sports. Please give a warm welcome to the Commissioner of the National Hockey League, Mr. Gary Bettman.
This is very nice. I may take that one. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Steve. Each year around this time, it's both my pleasure and my honor to join you to celebrate the newest inductees into the United States Hockey Hall of Fame and to present the Lester Patrick Trophy. This year's U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame class, as you've heard, is a collection of heart and soul champions. Some of what I'm about to say in terms of their accomplishments you've already heard, but it's really worth repeating. Congratulations to King Crowley, who was a prolific scorer, who won gold at the first Women's Olympic tournament in 1998, to Dustin Brown and Jamie Langenbrunner, both 2-time Stanley Cup champions and NHL captains who really led by example. To Brian Murphy, an outstanding on-ice official who worked, as you heard, 9 Stanley Cup finals, 2 World Cups, Olympics, and perhaps even more important as you look at the journey of life, he mentors young officials, and he does it with dedication and passion. And last, but certainly not least, to Brian Burke, congratulations. One of the first people who joined me in 1993. Brian has excelled in just about every role in the men's game, including, as you heard, winning the Stanley Cup with Anaheim in 2007. And now he's bringing his lifetime of experience to the women's game, and I know for him that is an absolute joy and an honor. He has been, over the years, a loyal colleague, a trusted advisor, and as far as I'm concerned, most important, a true friend for over 30 years. So congratulations again to you, Brian. Congratulations to all 5 inductees. Now on to the Lester Patrick Award. As you heard, this trophy is presented for outstanding service to hockey in the United States and is among one of the most prestigious awards that the game gives. A little bit of background. The first time I saw Joe Bertagna was in 1972, and the location was Liner Rink at Cornell University. Joe was the starting goaltender for Harvard, and I was a sophomore at Cornell and a season ticket holder for Big Red Hockey. And Joe, I can't say I was a fan of yours at that time and under those circumstances. By the way, Cornell won that night 5-2. Sorry. Actually, not sorry. Anyway, in the 5 decades since, I have come to know and greatly admire this lifelong servant of our game in a myriad of roles and at a myriad of levels of our game. Joe has coached both the men's and women's teams at his alma mater. He has been an innovator, both as a technician of the position and as a goaltending coach, and he's done it at the collegiate level, the national team level, and at the NHL level. Over the last 40 years, Joe also has served the game as an administrator. Among his many accomplishments he has been instrumental in developing and growing the women's game. When you combine his tenures leading the ECAC and then Hockey East, he has served longer than any other college hockey commissioner in history, and I guess tenure is something that we now more have in common than we did in 1972, to which I happily applaud. For your lifetime of service to hockey in the United States, I am delighted to present the 2023 Lester Patrick Trophy to Joe Bertagna. All yours.
All right, great job. Have a seat. Make yourself at home. Make yourself comfortable. That's for you.
Where does Lester go?
You put Lester wherever you want. Comfortable there?
Yeah, maybe the lights could be a little brighter.
Okay. See, we can we get the lights brighter, please? Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Bettman, for being here to present. So, Joe, as you look out at all these fine people, well dressed there, this is a really big deal. What's going through your mind right now?
I thought there'd be more hockey people here. I was just a little surprised. I've been doing a lot of interviews over the last few weeks. I told some of the people today I'm getting tired of talking about myself, but I don't want to give the impression that I'm not appreciative of this honor since I got the phone call from Gary. And the first thought was, how do I thank the people that I really have to? But I've had a lot of different jobs, and each one has had people who have opened doors. My brother and sister here got me started. My wife Kathy and the kids have been supportive. And in between, I've just been very fortunate. I played for 4 legendary hockey coaches, a guy named Ed Burns in Arlington, Cooney Weiland, Bill Cleary, and Tim Taylor at Harvard. That's not a bad start. And if I did anything, I wanted to certainly mention Tim Taylor and Bill Cleary. Tim got me started as a coach in his summer camp. I lived in his house. Chose me to work the Canada Cup in '91 with Bob Johnson and the Olympics in '94. This tie is 31 years old. It's one of my newer ties. And it's from the Canada Cup, and I think of Timmy every time I wear it. Billy recruited me, played me, hired me to coach men and women, told me to go to the ECAC to get an internship and start my administrative career. And so those guys opened all the doors and allowed me to have a life in hockey.
I want to ask you about the goaltending position which you played. It seems to me now the second the puck crosses the blue line, the goalie is right down on his knees hugging the post. So what's going on? What's going on with the goaltending position from the day that you played to what it is now?
Well, Gary shouldn't have been booing me at line of rink. My teammates at Harvard that are here know the way I played in Ithaca, and he should have been cheering that I was out there at all. But they're bigger, they're better coached, they're better athletes attracted to the position. The equipment is bigger, allows them to play deep and to go down, and the goaltending dominates the game now. We have great young goalie coaches from the pro level down to different hockey communities. I'd like to see some of the non-goalie coaches, just regular coaches, take up an interest in learning the position, because we tend to farm it out to the professionals, and the average program doesn't give the goalies the attention that they need.
Such a specialized position, no doubt. You had a seat on the front porch of Division I college hockey as a commissioner for decades in the ECAC and Hockey East, as well as you worked through the American Hockey Coach Association and on NCAA committees. Where was college hockey when you started, and how about where it is today now?
Well, those of us that played it thought it was pretty good back then, but it's certainly been professionalized with a small p and a capital P, given the great number of collegians getting you into the pros. But just go to a game and see the professional manner in which the product is presented, the facilities they're playing in, the new programs starting hockey. Women's hockey, we had Coach Smith convinced Katie to bring BC and Northeastern to our community of Gloucester a couple of weeks ago, sold out a suburban rink, so many people who normally don't see women's hockey saw a great example of what that game is about. I see the University of Delaware has just announced they've added Division I women's hockey, so if anything, a shout out to how the women's game has grown, and for the first time this year, the women will play the Beanpot tournament at TD Garden.
Very nice.
And that's a great development for women's hockey.
That's a big deal. Big deal. In the big building as well. So, Joe, people talk about being in the room, and hockey people have the best stories. It's that fraternity that's in the room. When people retire or they step away, they always say, "I'm going to miss, being in the dressing room, being on the bus, being in the hotels, in the hallways of hotels, those kinds of things." Do you have a story you'd like to share with us, maybe about your time in the game at any level?
So I do have a poignant story about how that I killed a bird with a puck shooting machine. I don't know if you'd want to hear that.
I think everyone wants to hear that, yeah.
So.
Is it lighthearted?
Not for the bird.
No.
Some people from PBS did a children's science show called Fetch, where they have some obnoxious little kids learn lessons about science, and they needed a machine that propelled objects, and were told I had a puck shooting machine, so they drove to my house in Gloucester, and I set it up in the driveway, and I hadn't met these nice PBS people. So they arrived, and I said, "Come on, let me show you how it works," and brought them over, and I turned the machine on, and had a couple of milk crates set up to shoot at, and just as I went to demonstrate, a little bird landed on top of the milk crate, a little defenseless bird. And without thinking, I said, "Hey, watch this," and I pushed the button, and right in the beak. And a bunch of feathers went up, and this little bird went down.
Yeah.
Stayed down.
So this is the uplifting story you were going to share with the hockey community.
Well, I said to them, I couldn't, if I tried this 100 times, I couldn't do that. And they heard, I've tried this 100 times. So they rented the machine, and they, actually I was in the show because they couldn't cast anybody.
Yeah.
And I always thought, and at the end they say no animals were harmed in the taping of.
Can't really say that.
They couldn't really say that in that one.
Good, right.
So, the other story I was just going to say about.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, no, a different story. And this one's no more uplifting than the last one.
Well, by all means then, tell us.
But Burke reminded me last night that when he was an agent and he was starting to represent goalies, he thought maybe he could work a goalie school and learn what makes goalies tick. And so he came down to the Pilgrim rink in Hingham, and he forgot his skates. So he went into the pro shop the first day and bought a pair of skates. And then he found when he got paid on Friday that the skates actually cost more than I paid him. So he reminds me all the time it's the only hockey school he ever worked that he lost money at. So.
And here
That's
you
not
are
that
today.
uplifting, but-
Here you are today, both being honored.
That's right.
So, Joe, listen, Lester looks very comfortable on your lap
does,
there. Where do
he
you
does.
think you're going to put him when you bring him home? Like, where's he going to go?
That
Apparently
was
it's
my
not going-
wife who said not in the living room. And we actually, it's not the trophy we want in the living room. It's one of those life-size banners out there.
Joe, congratulations.
Thank you.
Real pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Mr. Steve Levy.
He was walking out. We went back inside, sat down, had a few.
All right, let's rock and roll. Let's get this thing going. All these people have speeches. They can't wait to give their speech so it's over with and they can enjoy the rest of the night. I sent around a bunch of tequila shooters. Hope you guys all got those. Let's get loose, make some bad decisions. Speaking of which, maybe you guys didn't hear me about buying the blanket for $150. Apparently, most of you are afraid of the QR code. I paid mine, $1,000 in singles, don't judge. cash, they take it. We're not close to $2.5 billion. That's all I'm going to say, all right? So whatever you can do as the night progresses, we'd appreciate, USA Hockey would appreciate your help. We appreciate the Westin Copley Place staff here. Hope everybody enjoyed their dinner. I don't want to be the food police, but I'll just say that somebody at my table had 2 salads, okay? I see you, table 18. No names. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of current members of the hall with us tonight, probably nearly 30 of them. I'd like to ask them all to stand, if able, and allow them to give them a big Boston welcome. Can we have the lights up and see all the Hall of Famers in attendance here tonight? Very nice. Soak it in. You deserve that moment. One note as well, after we are finished with the program tonight, we'd like all the current members of the hall to come to the front so they can get a group photo with your classmates now in the class of 2023 at the end. There'll be a nice moment, a keepsake for everyone else. I'd also like to ask you to join me in a round of applause for the terrific work of the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame Selection Committee. That is a tough task every single year. So many deserving people. And at this point, let's go meet some people in the crowd, all right? It's one of my favorite parts of the show here. We're going to go over and say hello. These are also people who do not want to talk to me. Table 2. Is your name Scott? Stand up. Face the world right over here. Say hello to everybody. Say hello to my friend Scott. How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Do you have prepared remarks?
It all depends on what you ask me.
Ah, very good. I asked a tough question. So, you're a former NHL official yourself. You've been kind enough to mentor up-and-coming officials, which is really great. We obviously all appreciate that. And you've known Brian Murphy for, damn, that's a long time. Wow. So you got some dirty secrets on him probably. And we'd like you to share all of them here tonight.
Perfect. Let's go.
So 32 years, how does a guy like Murph, how did he do that in a very difficult job and back when the job was probably even harder?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. Number one, he kept himself, and still to this day keeps himself in phenomenal shape. As the game evolved from the late 80s to 2020 when he stopped, he made sure to continue to be the athlete he needed to be to do the job. And the second thing is, he probably demanded more out of himself than anybody else did. He expected perfection, or as close to perfection as he could get on any night, whether it was a Wednesday in November someplace or the Stanley Cup final. And that expectation to do a job at the highest level on a consistent basis is what kept him around that long.
Wow, well done. Thank you very much for your time. Well done. Good on you, too. 3 teams out there. 3 teams, all right? All right, let's move around the room here. Let's see where else we're going to go here. Keegan. That's Keagan, right? I spelled that right? Okay, Keegan. Oh, I had to take the long way, sure. Let's see who's next up on the hit list. Hey, Greener, how you doing, bud? What's going on? Hey, stand up. Join the party. Say hello. We're going to look to, we're being beamed all over across the world right now. Is there any chance that's true or not? I might have just made that up, too. That and the Taylor Swift thing. So, you played with Dustin Brown. He's got a statue. They retired his number tonight, a place in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. A teammate of his for so long. What made Dustin so special for you?
He just played really hard. He's hard to play against. Played against him for 3 years. I was really happy when I got traded to L.A. Play with him. But he kept you on your toes all the time. Didn't matter what time of game it was, when we were playing, who we were playing. He would always find a way to do something dumb and make sure that.
Sorry, it sounded like you said something dumb.
Extremely dumb.
Oh, extremely dumb.
And make sure that you were ready to go and that you had to answer for it. But that was one of the best things. So it didn't matter if it was 2 minutes into the game or 2 minutes left in the game. He was going to play the same way, play hard against all the right guys, and he never hit anybody who didn't deserve it. It was fun to play with him.
And all clean hits, every one of them clean, too.
No.
Thank you very much. Yep. Good to see you again. All right. You might wind up in the speech, I'm thinking. All right, we'll see how that plays out. Next stop on the Keegan tour. Hi. Hi, Bill Daly. Bill? Steve, nice to see you. Sorry, we got to go this way just for the cameras here. This is Bill Daly, Deputy Commissioner of the NHL. Say hi to Bill. I really don't know how this is going to work because we're going to ask you to talk about Brian Burke, and this could go either, one of two ways. So which way do you want to go when you want to talk about Burke and what he's meant?
In a very positive way.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Matt Green didn't go that direction with Dustin Brown. You just heard that, right?
No. Brian was a mentor, great partner, great friend for a long time.
Okay. Thanks for coming out, Bill. Appreciate it. Thanks. All right. Bill Daly here. And the stroll continues. I know you. Hi, AJ. Come on, stand up, say hello, face the camera. We've done this before. This is AJ Malesko. She's their teammate, but she's also my teammate at ESPN. And here to speak about your former teammate, Katie King, and I'm just curious as to what
I'm just looking for Kinger. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Okay.
what North America needs to know about her. She's very concerned, by the way,
She's very okay.
about the rest of the night.
Well, first, can I ask what the temperature is in here and how badly
Not cool
you're
enough.
sweating?
And that's with the blanket. Did I mention the blanket? Go buy a blanket, people. It's for the kids.
When we work together, the studio is at 38 degrees, so this is way too hot for Steve Levy. What was the question?
Something about Katie.
So this is our team over here. You can come back over here. This is also our team, and we've got Coach Smith here. Angela's here too, but we've got Coach Smith, and we were just talking about a laundry mix-up between Kinger and Coach Smith in Ottawa.
She's concerned. She knows what's coming.
Anyway, their laundry is mixed up, and it was Coach had to come down the hall and find out whose laundry he had with his laundry. So it ended up being okay, right?
Socks?
Socks, yeah, let's go with socks. It was socks. So what else do we need to know about Kinger? I mean, laundry is sort of the most important. But she is, and I said this, somebody asked me recently, she is probably every one of ours favorite teammate, in all seriousness. What? Speed down the left side, big train. Everybody likes speed down the left side. So she scored a lot of goals, that's great. But she also laughed a lot. So I thought I was funny. And it's just Kinger laughs at me a lot, or with me a lot. So I'm not that funny, and I learned that the hard way. But did you guys all think you were the funniest? Yeah. What other stories? Come on. Anybody else want to stand up? Okay. A lot of stories we can't tell. Okay. Do you have another? It's easier to be asked a question. Do you have another question?
Not a question. The first, I gave you the microphone. There you go. Never give up the microphone, people. First rule of broadcasting. I'll see you on ESPN soon. What do you have, Calgary tomorrow night or something? No?
I just know that the AC will be up.
All right. Buy a blanket. All right, where's next? Okay, thanks. Mason, is it Brunner? Just kidding. Brunner, yeah, I got it. Come on, just kidding. How you doing? Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
So you're Jamie's brother?
I'm his son.
Son. Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand you're on the Harvard men's hockey team. Is that right?
That's correct.
I think I see Teddy Donato over there. Coach, do you feel you're getting the proper amount of time on the power play?
Considering I get no time on the power play, I'm going to go with no on that one. Yeah.
I know Teddy's gotten creative. You guys use a 1-4-7 forecheck. How is that working out?
Not great so far. We're working on it. We're getting there.
It's early. All right, we'll let you off the hook. Don't want to get you in any hot water with the coach there. So we'll make this very easy, okay? Give me the best thing about your dad, and then definitely give me the worst thing about him. What's he like at home?
Oh, he's the best dad someone can ask for. Whether it's just.
Aw, come on.
Honestly.
That's very nice.
I think his career is noteworthy in every single way. I think every young hockey player wants to do three things. It's playing a World Juniors, playing Olympics, and win a Stanley Cup. So for me to be able to look up to him, I think that's an incredible thing to do. So, yeah.
Damn, feeling that, Dad? You feeling that? Yes, you are. Good to meet you. Best of luck. Thank you for taking the time. Mason Langenbrunner. So I'm a bit in the feels there a little bit after that. You shook me up right there. Between that and the dirty laundry story, Oh, clean laundry. Sorry, my bad. All right, this is the time you've all been waiting for. It is time now to formally enshrine the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame class of 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to have one current member of the Hall welcome each member of the class of 2023 tonight, and to do the honors for Dustin Brown, someone who is always in the conversation when the debate over the best American player of all time is had. From the class of 1976, still going strong at the age of 89, how about a big welcome to the one and only Bill Cleary. And now, please turn your attention to the screens. Let's learn about the extraordinary career of Dustin Brown.
And the shot goes off. Here's Brown through center. Dustin Brown scores! Oh, my!
In Los Angeles, there are 3 statues of past Kings players: Wayne Gretzky, Luc Robitaille, and the newest member enshrined in the streets of gold, Dustin Brown.
My first impression on the ice was that he was a wrecking ball, which he was. You know, he did hit everything inside.
Oh, look out! Dustin Brown lowers the boom!
On the ice, I think Dustin's just the kind of player where you're just like, he can do everything out there with a smile on his face, you know, no teeth and a smile on the face. Just a very effective player anytime he's on the ice, whether it's with the puck or without the puck, you're going to notice him.
First, he was very quiet, and then he got named captain, and you know, just his, I guess, progression in leadership was great to see. And, you know, he was our captain that led us to the Stanley Cup, so that says just about everything.
You see his work ethic in practice and how it carries over to games.
You got it yourself, I think. They hit you, I think.
And you see in games some of the plays he makes that have such a positive impact on the games, and, you know, he's an easy guy for everyone to follow.
Robitaille to the back. Mitchell again.
During an 18-year career played only with the Kings, Brown edged 325 goals, 387 assists, and 712 points.
Dustin Brown scores!
He's also second all-time in franchise history for games played, with over 1,200. And his 3,185 career hits are third most in NHL history. As the captain of the Kings, Brown led the franchise to 2 Stanley Cup championships.
The young man from Ithaca, New York, will hoist the Stanley Cup.
Becoming the second American captain to hoist the cup and the only one to do it twice.
He was a leader on our team. We played on the same line, and, you know, just to see the guy competing and playing hard each and every night is inspiring and inspires you to do the exact same thing.
He's very even-keeled, even, you know, in stressful situations. He's calm, you know, he knows how to handle himself. He knows he's capable of making the big plays when we need him, and, you know, he did often, especially during that run.
Richard shoved it across him, down he walked along. 2-1 in front,
On the international stage, Brown laced up the skates for Team USA twice in the World Juniors, in 2003 and 2004, and 4 times during the IIHF World Championships, including a bronze medal in 2004. In 2010, Brown was named an alternate captain at the Vancouver Olympics, where Team USA took home the silver medal.
Dustin is definitely a player, when you make a list of guys you'd rather play with and against, he's going to be right up on the top. Kind of player who, you know, you pay attention to, and so when it comes time to, you know, play in a tournament format, you'd love to have Dustin on your team.
The 2014 Marc Messier Award winner also donned the red, white, and blue once more during the Sochi Olympic Games that year. Off the ice, charity work has always been at the forefront of Dustin Brown's mission. In 2011, he was awarded the NHL Foundation Player Award for his extensive community efforts and involvement. Even today, he remains heavily involved in his volunteer work. Earlier this year, the Kings retired his number 23 jersey, making Dustin Brown the 6th King in history to be honored in the rafters.
I think Dustin was a great leader for his team. He went out there and put his body on the line, but he also stepped up and put up points when they needed it. It's just an all-around player. I think that would be his legacy.
You think about who he is and what he did for as long as he did, like just the way he plays hockey and his durability, you know, his leadership. Being the first captain in LA Kings history to raise the Stanley Cup, you know, that's being in the U.S. Hall of Fame. This is something that, you know, he's deserved 10 times over.
And now, joining the list of immortals who have left an indelible mark on the game of hockey in the United States, please welcome Dustin Brown to the United States Hockey Hall of Fame.
I first want to thank the selection committee for this incredible honor. And I also want to take a moment to recognize the other inductees and congratulate them on their careers. Murph, being a ref is one of the more challenging jobs in all sports. I'm glad I got to share the ice with you both at the NHL and international levels. Jamie, though we competed in the NHL as opponents, it was a privilege to play alongside you at the Olympics. I learned a great deal from you as captain, and though we fell one goal short, it was one of my greatest hockey experiences. Burke, you've impacted the game in such a broad way. You have built winning teams at the highest levels. But you also believed in me and gave me an opportunity to participate in some of the best hockey I ever got to play, all while representing the USA. Katie, our paths have not crossed until today, but you were a dominant player on teams that put women's hockey on the map. And as a father of a 10-year-old daughter who dreams of being a hockey player, thank you for paving the way for a daughter like my daughter, Mackenzie. I feel thankful to be among you all tonight. Secondly, I'd like to thank Dave Fisher. Me and Fish probably met when we were, 20 or so. I was 20 at least. And ever since then, you've been making sure things go smoothly for me. And I think that's a sentiment that any player who's ever put on the USA Hockey sweater can say. It's a lot of work, especially this week. I appreciate all the time we have gotten to spend over the last 2 decades and the friendship we have fostered. When I first got the call from Pat, I was traveling to see my good friend Andrei Kopitar, which is fitting, because my career wouldn't have been without that guy. The call was a shock to me, mostly because you never expect receiving it. It's not something you dream of as a kid. Hell, it's not even something you really strive for. I think it's just something that happens when you do things consistently right for a very long time. My journey playing hockey started when I was just a young boy pushing a chair on the ice and going to Big Red Cornell games. And though I've been committed to the game my entire life, it is clear that you don't get to where I'm standing tonight with commitment alone. It takes a tribe to be successful in any endeavor in life, and I am no different. First, my parents. You got me on the ice, and I fell in love with it. Still, the best part was you were great hockey parents, partly because you didn't know anything about hockey, but more so because you didn't put any additional pressure on me. You just let me have fun and enjoy the game. That allowed me to find my own way. Now, as a hockey parent myself, I realize that that is the exception and not the rule, and I wish there were more hockey parents out there like you. To my brother Brandon, To my brother Brandon, thank you for competing with me. As two brothers growing up, everything was a competition. Whether it was Tecmo Bowl or Mortal Kombat on Nintendo, or hockey, lacrosse, or simply who could run up the stairs the fastest, I always had to compete with you. It definitely made me better, and it was a lot of damn fun. Tom Benedrin, Russ Johnson, Rich Armstrong, Jeff Jackson. These are just a few of the coaches I had along the way, from youth hockey to the NHL. And no player gets anywhere without great coaches, and I had many. To all my coaches for your instruction, thank you to all my coaches through the years for your instruction and guidance. To my LA Kings family, Jen Pope, Mike Altieri, Jeff Moeller here tonight. They were there when I was drafted in 2003. But as an organization, you stood by me when you didn't have to. And you provided me and my family the stability that not many NHL players get to experience. I feel lucky to have been able to play my entire career with a crown on my chest. It is one of my proudest achievements. I loved playing hockey, and I always have. But as a kid, you don't ever think it will end. And of course it does. But what doesn't end is the relationships I've built on and around the ice rinks, from Cass Park in Ithaca, New York, to the world's biggest stages. Matt Green. Greener, we met when we were 17 or so, going to play for USA. And there's nothing like getting snowed in at Logan Airport for 10 hours with only a deck of cards and a portable DVD player. Back in the day when the best phone was a Nokia with Snake on it. If you want the funnier version of this encounter, Greener's right there, just buy him a beer and he'll tell you. It was the start of our friendship, but I doubt either of us could have imagined 10 years later we'd be drinking out of the cup together, or 20 years later sitting here for an event like this. But what is closest to my heart is we captained 2 Stanley Cup teams together, backboned by one of the best American goalies in history, Jonathan Quick. We've been at the top of the mountain together, but we've also been down in the dumps together. Through it all, you've been a great teammate, but a better friend. Though winning the Stanley Cup was the apex of my career, I also won the New York State Championship and the high school state championship growing up. I am so happy to have gotten the opportunity to play this great game with some of my best friends growing up. Matt Hedge is here, Hedgie, and Brandon French could not make it. But it has been so much fun to share this hockey ride with you. And though the New York State Championship is not the Stanley Cup, for a bunch of 10 and 12-year-olds, it sure felt like it. A little side story about Hedge. He's a lifelong, diehard Ranger fan, like bleeds blue type kind of guy. So when we matched up to the Rangers in 2014, I had to give him an ultimatum. He could either root for the Rangers, and I'd respect it, or he could drink out of the cup with me when we won it. He chose wisely, and it's probably the best goddamn beer he's ever had. With all the great aspects of playing hockey professionally, there are a lot of sacrifices needed by the people around me. I want to thank my in-laws, Bobby and Julie, for being there all those years when I was on the road doing my thing. I knew my kids were well taken care of, and my wife had the best help with you guys around. It was also a lot of fun watching you grow a beard for the playoffs every year, Bobby. To my kids, Jake, Mason, Cooper, and Mackenzie, all 4 of which hockey players themselves, 3 competitively, 1 beer leaguer. You have all taught me more about life than I can ever imagine, and there have been days when you have challenged me in more ways than I thought possible. But there has never been a day in which I wish it were any different. With this night of celebration, my message to you is follow your passions, work hard, ask questions, laugh at yourself, and surround yourself with people who care about you deeply. With that, you will have all you need. I love you, and I am damn proud of you. Lastly, to my wife, Nicole, you have been by my side since we were 15. I have always been confident in myself, and I have always been comfortable being myself, regardless of what others thought. However, when the times were the roughest for me, it was you who gave me what I needed to persevere, to improve, to look in the mirror, but more importantly, to lean on and just simply let my guard down. Knowing you were in my corner gave me what I needed when I needed it the most. You were my best friend in the world, and I can't imagine any of this without you. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge her hockey credentials on a night like tonight. She was a steady, stay-at-home, off-the-glass-and-out type defenseman. However, she was also a two-time national champion with the Syracuse Stars. So as the joke goes in our house, it's tied 2-2. In closing, I want to express my gratitude to everyone I've crossed paths with. I don't have enough time in the day with my speech tonight to tell everyone, but it's been one of my greatest joys sharing moments like these with the people who have helped me get here. I know a night like tonight would not be possible without all of them. An honor like this was not the goal I had in mind when I started this journey. However, it is an honor I'm extremely proud of. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to have represented the USA at the highest levels of our game, to have been part of teams that inspire little kids to be hockey players, much like the '96 World Cup team did for me. To be a part of the USA hockey story, to have made an impact on the game, and to be recognized for it is truly humbling. To everyone who's helped me along the way, thank you.
To help welcome our next enshrinee, Brian Burke, to the Hall from the class of 2012, please give a warm welcome to one of the game's finest architects, Mr. Lou Lamoriello. And now please turn your attention to the screens, learn more about the amazing career of Brian Burke.
First priority for me when I look at players is character. My second priority is character, my third priority is character.
An accomplished executive whose career has been highlighted by a Stanley Cup and an Olympic silver medal, Brian Burke's life and passion has been hockey.
Throwing some bigger names around. Yeah, I told you it was dead, it just got hot in the hood.
A standout for Edina High School, Burke returned to his birthplace of Providence, Rhode Island to play college hockey for the Friars.
Brian came as a walk-on in Providence. By the end of his freshman year, he earned his way to a scholarship and was captain of our team his senior year.
After one Calder Cup championship winning season with the Maine Mariners, Burke ended his on-ice career and attended Harvard Law School, graduating in 1981. He then worked as a player agent before joining the Vancouver Canucks front office in 1987 as director of hockey operations. After a brief stint as the GM of the Hartford Whalers, Burke took a job with the NHL League office as executive VP and director of hockey operations.
I wanted somebody who was young and energetic and motivated and knew the game at all levels, and he fit the bill to a T for me.
In 1998, Burke headed back to Vancouver, this time as the GM, where he drafted Hockey Hall of Fame twins Daniel and Henrik Sedin.
How's that for excitement to start the '99 entry draft? Brian Burke indeed got to 2 and 3. He's engineered this so the two Swedish phenoms will be Vancouver Canucks.
Burke would later join the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim in the same role, leading the franchise to its first and only Stanley Cup.
The Anaheim Ducks are the 2007 Stanley Cup champions.
It's not just our dream. We wake up dreaming, how do I win this? You go to sleep dreaming, how do I win this? And to finally get a chance to do it, well, it's been awesome.
The Toronto Maple Leafs were the next stop for Burke, working as the GM once more.
The Toronto Maple Leafs are pleased to select Nazem Kadri.
In 2013, Burke took over as the president of hockey operations for the Calgary Flames.
Lived in 5 different NHL cities. It's my favorite city. By a mile. It's so clean and beautiful. People are nice.
A role he would also have with the Penguins years later. Burke also helped Team USA on the international stage, helping establish the U.S. Men's National Team Advisory Group in 2007, serving on that committee and leading to his role as the GM of the silver medal-winning 2010 Olympic team.
To me, he was always the leader in doing anything and everything that was asked of him for USA Hockey.
Brian always made sure that the U.S. teams were competitive and that they performed on the world stage in a way to make this country proud.
Along with management roles for the 2009 and 2010 IIHF Men's World Championship and the 2016 World Cup of Hockey, Burke also served as Director of Player Personnel for the 2014 Olympic team.
His experience as a young player, going through the ranks, I think was helpful in anything and everything he did, being associated with USA Hockey.
If you talk about an MVP, maybe for USA Hockey in the last 10 or 20 years, Brian's probably your guy.
Burke's contributions to the game of hockey go beyond the Olympics and NHL. A strong supporter of LGBTQ rights, Burke helped establish the You Can Play project, promoting inclusion. Quote, "If you can play, you can play."
Of course, front and center in all of this is You Can Play, an organization dedicated to ensuring equality, respect, and safety for all who participate in sports.
And today, Burke serves as the first ever executive director of the Professional Women's Hockey League Players Association.
As a guy with my experience, you get to do this job and work with this talented group of women. I'm thinking I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Brian's into so many things, from If You Can Play to women's hockey, and he's always supported worthy causes. And when there was a worthy fight to be fought, Brian was always there, first in line to help out.
Brian Burke's legacy to the game is he did it all. And he was an instrumental part of moving this game forward over the last 3 decades that I've been here. And nobody deserves Hall of Fame recognition more than he does.
And now, joining the list of immortals who have left an indelible mark on the game of hockey in the United States, please welcome Brian Burke to the United States Hockey Hall of Fame.
Wow. Like Brownie said, you never, when you're a kid, you play hockey, you never dream of something like this. You dream of playing in the NHL or maybe playing college hockey or maybe playing high school hockey, but you never dream of something like this. So for the people that are here, I want to thank, there's a good contingent from Providence College. Rick Moffat was my roommate, best friend I had for years. Love the guy. Nate Lehman's here, the coach of Providence College. Bill Milner. John Martin, who was my captain when I was a freshman. I was scared shitless of him. Ron Olszewski, Doug Olson, Jeff Raley, my 3 best friends from high school. My siblings, I'm one of 10 kids, and I benefited from all 10 of them, but especially my oldest brother, Bill, who's here, my older brother, John, and my little brother, Matt. They were the closest to me, so thank you for being here. Father's Day is a special day for me, because I think I can be proud of my kids more than anyone, but 2 of them are here tonight, Katie and Patrick. Molly has a work conflict, and Marin and Gracie both have exams. They're in the first year of university. So Katie and Patrick, I'm so grateful for everything you've brought to our family and everything you've taught me. I love it very much. And to Odie, you make it all happen, so thank you. And also, I want to congratulate the other inductees. So Katie, Dustin, Jamie, and Murph. When you go into a Hockey Hall of Fame, and I've gone into a couple, the first thing you think is, God, I hope there's a good class. Hope there's not some idiot in there that's going to screw this up. And I was so proud when I saw the class. I'm like, good Lord, Katie's the best hockey player of the whole group. Jamie's one of the smartest players I ever had. I had him in the Olympics. Brownie's as tough as they come. And Murphy, the best official that worked on the lines for anyone who was a referee for a year or two. So congratulations to all of you. It's an honor to be here with you. Joe Bertagna, he told a story about killing a bird. What's your problem? What the hell is the matter with you? You've been in hockey for 40 years, and the best story you could tell is about killing a goddamn bird? Seriously, think about that. That's a twisted person. And I want to thank the Boston Bruins. Cam Neely was here. I think he had to leave early. Donnie Sweeney's here. And Charlie Jacobs is here. They've been great supporters of hockey and wonderful, wonderful supporters of this event. So thank you for that. So a little history lesson. I was a history major. If Steve had done a better job introducing me, you would know that, but he didn't. I was a history major. So let's have a quick history lesson. History of USA hockey in 4 minutes. 1958, what happened? Mr. Willie O'Ree broke the color barrier. 1960, Mr. Cleary, what happened? Squaw Valley, gold medal for the U.S. Olympic team, groundbreaking. 1968, silver medal, but also expansion, NHL expansion, 1968. 1972, Title IX. Title IX, one of the biggest things that ever happened in the history of our country. 1980, miracle. I was in law school. I remember my roommate from law school. The game was on during the day. They played it on tape delay. My roommate said, do you want to know who won? I said, no, I don't want to know who won. I watched the game like everyone else. Miracle on Ice, Craig Patrick, Herb Brooks, amazing. 1988, Gretzky trade. Propelled hockey in the U.S. amazingly. 1993, Gary Bettman became the commissioner of the NHL. And I'm telling you, that was earth-shattering for USA hockey, and I'll come back to that in a little bit. And I always mention Bill Daly like they're twins, and they could be for all I care. They have been such a great asset to hockey in the United States. Thank you both for that. 1996, World Cup, and NDTP started, first year, 1996. 1998, Nagano, women won the gold medal, first one. Big deal. 2009, the ADM. 2010, Vancouver silver medal, Brownie. 2023, PWHL founded. So that's the history of USA hockey in North America. Now, what's my involvement with all this? And I want to talk about this exclusively is I want to say thank you to USA Hockey, because I got a chance to, every step of this way with USA Hockey I've been involved. My first coach, I moved to Minnesota when I was 12. When I was 13, I started playing hockey. So I was 13, so all of you know that's pretty late. And if you're not a real gifted athlete, and I wasn't, it's really late. My first coach was Bob O'Connor, the late, great Bob O'Connor, who went on to a great career with USA Hockey. He told me, look, you provide the sweat, we'll provide the know-how. We'll encourage you, we'll tell you how to do it. I remember my first game. I tried to put my garter belt on over my pants. You can't do that. Any of you new people, don't try that. Don't try and put your garter belt on over your pants. And we called them breezers back then. The Minnesota guys are all going, yeah, I know what those are. But Bob O'Connor was my first coach, so I played Bantam House, Midget B, Midget A, Edina West High School. My 5th year of organized hockey, playing at Edina. They split schools or I would never have played high school hockey, but thank God they split schools. 6th year of organized hockey, playing Division I college hockey at Providence College. So there was great help. Bart Larson coached me. Mr. Brower coached me. Coach Beebe coached me. Had great help to get there. Now I go to Providence. I get to play for Lou. Now I got to tell you, playing for Lou isn't all fun. Guy's a pain in the ass. I might have cursed him more in 4 years than I said thank you, but now I can say thank you and realize. I was a walk-on as a freshman, as Lou mentioned. I walked on. I was a partial scholarship my second year, a full scholarship my last 2 years, graduated as captain, graduated with the record for games played at Providence College, never missed a game due to injury or illness in 4 years. So a pretty good 4 years. Now, I went to take the law boards when I was a senior in college. Lou called me in, and Alana Mooney, the secretary, said, the coach wants to see you. So I'm like, oh, shit. That's never good, right? Lou wants to see you. So he passes this thing across the table. He said, you're taking the law boards. If you do well, you get into Harvard or Yale. I passed it back. I said, I have no interest in going to law school. Lou shoved it back and said, you don't understand. That was not a request. So I took the law boards, blew it away, get into Harvard Law School. So now I signed with the Flyers. I play 11 games on a tryout. I couldn't believe it. Playing pro hockey. My 10th year of organized hockey, I'm playing pro hockey. Play for the American League for a year, win a Calder Cup, and then I go back to law school because I sucked. No one's laughing that saw me play, trust me. I scored 3 goals that year on a Calder Cup championship team. Everyone says, oh, he must have been a defenseman. No, I was a forward with no skill. I was horse shit. So I went back to law school. I said to Lou, what should I do? And Lou said, I know you really love playing hockey, but if I were you, I'd go back to school. So I went back to school. So Harvard Law School. I scouted my first year, worked for the late, great Walter Tanis, who was a scout for the Flyers. He taught me how to scout. Remember the first game I went to a game at Boston College. I filled out my ratings. I handed it to Walter Tanis. He ripped it up and ripped it up again. He said, do it again. So I did it again. He ripped it up again. He said, you're way too high. And this was like Doug Brown was on that team. Kevin Stevens was there. Brian Leach. I'm like, I was putting all these guys as NHL players. I thought they were. He said, no, you're too high. So I did that for a year. Then I went to work for a law firm part-time. But the guys I hung around back then, and this is the people I want to mention from USA Hockey. Jackie Parker. Good Lord, Jackie Parker. What a great guy. Jerry York, he's here. Sean Walsh, he's not with us anymore. Billy Cleary, great to see Billy. These are all coaches I went and talked to about who I should draft, who I'd do this with. Mike Sertis from Duluth, Badger Bob Johnson, and Doug Woog. All these guys. Walter Bush was one of the first guys I met, too, when I started in that age. So you go through this group of people. It's a who's who of people that worked in USA Hockey and put us all on the map and built this tower, brick by brick. USA Hockey was a bunch of guys making the game better, building this tower brick by brick, and I was part of that for a great chunk of it. 1987, I went to Vancouver, worked for Pat Quinn as the assistant GM. That's where I met Ben Smith. I met Digger, Ron DiGregorio, who's put in so much time building this game better. Paul Stewart, he's here, the referee. He was a horseshit referee, but a great guy. Dean Lombardi, Jack Ferreira, Bob Goodnow, who's the guy who's overlooked a lot, but had a great role in our game at one point. 1992-93, I went to Hartford. I was a GM. I was a rookie GM. Paul Holmgren was my coach. Paul Holmgren did a great job for us. Tommy Rowe was on that team. He was the assistant GM. I met Lou Vero then. I met Art Berglund then. They asked me to be the GM of the World Juniors, their World Championships that year in Munich, in Dortmund and then in Munich. So it was my first USA Hockey experience with those guys. And I was so proud that I got a chance to represent my country. I was never good enough to play for Team USA. So now I got a chance to go. And who are the assistant coaches that went with us? John Cuniff, Tim Taylor. Amazing. I got to work with both those guys. I learned so much working from both those guys. 93, 98, I worked for the NHL. I got to say, I worked for Gary Bettman. What a great experience it was to work for Gary Bettman and then Bill Daly, who joined us shortly afterwards. You look at what the league has turned into since I worked there. Like when I worked there, player safety didn't exist. I did all the discipline. We had 4 VCRs. We had 4 VCRs, Steve. We had to watch you all the time. 4 VCRs, that's all. We can only tape 4 games. Now they got 17 players and people that work there in player safety in 2 rooms and situation rooms. We had nothing, and no assets. But Bill Daly and Gary Bettman said, we're going to make it better. Just bear with us. We'll grow this whole game. We'll grow the economics. They went through the labor wars to get it done. Two great guys who have made this game so special and helped USA Hockey so immensely. I want a special round of applause for these two guys. And there's a bunch of families that started to take over and run things for the NHL with Gary. And I want to mention a few of them because they're still involved with hockey, a lot of them. The Jacobs family, Charlie's here tonight. Ed Snyder, the late great Ed Snyder, did so much for hockey. Peter Carmanos, the Wirtz family. And then people, Dave Ogren came on the scene back then. Lou Vero came on the scene back then. These are all guys that put in huge shifts and made a big difference and built this tower, again, every year, brick by brick. Doug Pelizzari was one of those guys. I first met Doug. I got to work with him. Yeah, Doug, I got a little round of applause there. Must be a short guy like Doug. Then 1998, Nagano. I got to meet Angelo Ruggiero, got to meet Cami Granato, and Julie Chu, my favorite player. She's not here, but Julie was my favorite player. And the women's game started to evolve and take on form. 98 to 04, I worked for Vancouver Canucks. That's where I got to meet with JJ. And John Johansson is here, and John knows the respect and reverence I have for Jimmy Johansson. I'm carrying a JJ medallion in my pocket that we all have. And JJ was, I think, the greatest thing that happened to USA Hockey and all these great people that work there. I think JJ would probably have the biggest heart and the biggest brain, the biggest compassion. What a wonderful human being, and he's still missed to this day, even years later. So, John, we haven't forgotten JJ. We love him. Met Pat Kelleher. He was coming on then. He was a young guy, played at Brown, but we won't hold that against him. Then I went to won a Stanley Cup with the Samueli family in '07 in Anaheim. And the Samueli family has been a great asset for USA Hockey. They've been a great family. Henry and Susan Samueli are amazing. Then '09 was kind of a change for me. They asked me to be the GM of the World Championships that year in Bern, Switzerland. And I said to JJ, why are we doing this with just me and David Poyle? They said, you can have an assistant GM. I said, I'd like David Poyle. So he was my associate GM for Vancouver, and then in Sochi, he worked with us again. He was the GM in Sochi. But I said, why are we just having two guys on the management team? Let's expand it. And JJ said, that's a great idea. So we founded the committee. We started doing this by committee. So David Poyle came on, Dale Talon, Paul Holmgren, Dean Lombardi, Stan Bowman. We started getting more input into getting good players. We still do it that way today, by the way. We do two things differently than anyone else. We do that, and we do 12-minute warm-ups at the World Championships. So I remember my first one in Bern, I said to the players, what don't you like about this tournament? They said, we play all these games, we have 15-minute warm-ups. I said, God damn it, we'll make the warm-ups 12 minutes then. To this day, USA Hockey does 12-minute warm-ups at the World Championships, and it really pisses everyone off. It's great. So in Bern, they said, why don't you be the GM in Bern in 2009, and then David Poyle will be the associate GM, then we'll have you be the Olympic GM in 2010. So that was the start of the voyage for 2010. We announced the game, announced the team at Fenway Park after the Winter Classic. So we went outside, had players skate on the ice, announced our team, and we were ridiculed for the selections we made. You remember that, Brownie? Everyone picked us to finish sixth. We were picked to finish number 6. And we lost in overtime to a great Canadian team. I would mention the Canadian referee kicked the puck to Jerome McGinley right before Sidney Crosby scored, but that's okay. I'm kidding, it was Bill McCreary. I mean, I've gotten over it. But Jamie Langenbrunner and Dustin Brown were on that team, and what an honor to have those two guys on your team. Dustin Brown played as hard as anyone I've ever had, and Jamie Langenbrunner, like I said, he was like having another coach on the staff. He was so smart, such a smart player, and such a good kid. So we're really happy with both those guys. And then after that, I worked on, I think, 8 national teams: Bern, Bratislava, Helsinki, Stockholm, Cologne, Prague, St. Petersburg, most of those with JJ, a lot of those with JJ. Remember, I was with the team in Bratislava when they announced that Osama bin Laden had been killed by the U.S. troops. Remember, we were on the bus coming back. We were the only U.S. team traveling abroad. They shut us down. They locked us down. They took our passports away and made us stay in the hotel for 2 days so we got clearance that we weren't going to get killed. But that was a national team experience, and it's taken me all over the globe, a lot of it with JJ. World Cup of Hockey in 2016 was my last hurrah with USA Hockey. We went 0-3, and no one's ever talked to me since from USA Hockey. John Tortorella was our coach. Mike Sullivan was our assistant coach, and we went 0-3. And no U.S. team has ever gone 0-3. And I don't think anyone from USA Hockey's talked to me before tonight. But thank you for talking to me tonight, you guys that are here. And then 2023, I've just been announced my new role as the Executive Director of the Players Association for the PWHL. I can't tell you how excited I am about that. I got offered this job, I burst into tears. Like, I never thought I'd get a chance. I worked 30 years on the men's side, never thought I'd get an opportunity, so I can't wait to get started with the women. We play our first game on January 1st. Tickets are on sale. Call your local, we have 6 markets, yes. So I was determined to get through that, but not take up 38 minutes like Eddie Olczyk did. 28 people had birthdays while Eddie Olczyk did his speech. So I want to make sure I beat that, but I want to say thank you. I really do want to say thank you. I owe USA Hockey more than they'll ever owe me. So thank you for that opportunity. Thank you for tonight.
Great job. I know that's Dustin, okay? I can't delay it anymore, Katie, okay? And now, to help enshrine Katie King Crowley to the Hall, please join me in welcoming from the class of 2015, one of the greatest defenders of all time, Angela Ruggiero. And now, please turn your attention to the screens to learn more about the show-stopping career of Katie King Crowley.
One of the greatest competitors in the history of United States women's ice hockey, Katie King Crowley's journey as a player on the ice was one marked by extraordinary accomplishment.
I grew up playing hockey, actually, with Katie King, and she was older. So it's somebody you look up to, somebody you see in the rinks when you're like 12 years old and you're on the glass watching, and you knew she was elite. You know, you saw all the players, but you knew she was elite.
King Crowley attended Brown University and starred in both softball and hockey. On the ice, she was a 3-time Ivy League Player of the Year and continues today to be the Bears' all-time leader in both points and goals.
When I think of Katie King as an athlete, I think of an incredibly fierce competitor. For Katie King to pull it off and win an Ivy League championship on the softball mound and then, you know, go and do the same thing on the ice hockey rink, I mean, that's someone you want to emulate.
After college, King Crowley reached new levels, earning a spot on the first ever U.S. Olympic women's ice hockey team in 1998, where she proceeded to help the red, white, and blue win the very first gold medal awarded in women's hockey.
We weren't expected to win. We were the underdogs, if you will. But we had what it took in the locker room and off the ice, and ultimately we believed.
With stripes on their jerseys and stars in their eyes, the Americans win the gold.
A 3-time Olympic medalist, King Crowley added a silver medal to her portfolio at the 2002 Games in Salt Lake, and then a bronze medal in her final Olympic appearance in 2006 in Turin. Her 14 career Olympic goals, including a hat trick in the 2006 bronze medal game, are tied for the all-time Team USA lead, while her 23 Olympic points are third most among American women.
So when I look at Kinger, the first thing that comes to mind without a doubt is score goals. And she can do it under pressure. And I also think that's hard to do. Like, we can all score when we're in our backyard or playing, but can you do it when the game's on the line and time's counting down, the whole country's watching? Can you bury it? And Kinger could find the net, take her team on her shoulders, and get them next level. The kid was a goal scorer.
King Crowley was also a 6-time IIHF World Championship medalist, leading Team USA to its first ever gold medal in 2005, and also earning 5 silver medals. In 2006, Katie King Crowley was named USA Hockey Women's Player of the Year. Her 9-year career with Team USA remains one of the all-time greats for the national team.
What you define a power forward as is what you define Katie King as. Like the power and the speed that she'd come down the wing when she'd get going, you just couldn't stop her. And then she was able to use her strength and her power to get to the net. She was an amazing teammate. I just remember her, you know, in the locker room, always bringing energy, laughing, dancing, keeping things light when it needed to be. And then when it was time for business, she'd just dial right in and become, you know, that power forward that we all knew her as.
First serving as an assistant for the Boston College women's hockey team in 2003, King Crowley began her coaching career, being promoted to head coach of the Eagles in 2007, where she continues today.
The second I stepped on campus at Boston College and I had the opportunity to meet the coaches, Kinger and Court Kennedy, it was a no-brainer for me. I knew this was the spot that I wanted to be. The culture that they established here as a program was something I wanted to be a part of.
I think she became much more powerful as a coach. As her career progressed and her trips to NCAA championships, I think she became a force in all of college hockey.
With 17 seasons under her belt, 5 trips to the Frozen Four, and a historic run in 2015 when her team achieved a 40-1 record, she was also named AHCA Coach of the Year twice.
You know, these players at Boston College, they're incredibly lucky to have Coach King Crowley behind the bench and to lead them. You know, she cares about them.
Serving as an assistant coach for 2 U.S. under-18 women's national teams, her Olympic experience helped Team USA to gold in 2009 and silver in 2010.
Kinger is somebody that you'd love to play for. She brought the best out of everybody, and she was somebody that you wanted to win games for. And it was an honor to get the chance to play for her, and I wish I had 4 more years with her.
Already enshrined in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame as part of the 1998 Olympic team, Katie King Crowley is still leaving her own legacy in women's hockey.
I know she's proud of the impact she's had on every player who's come through Boston College, and even Team USA. And yeah, we won a national championship. She wants that. She's a competitor. She's not crazy. But I think the impact she's had on so many lives is way beyond that.
And now, joining the list of immortals who have left an indelible mark on the game of hockey in the United States, please welcome Katie King Crowley to the United States Hockey Hall of Fame.
I'm already crying. I'll try to get through it without crying anymore. I'm so humbled. That's right, I usually have my teammates up here with me. I'm so humbled to be up here tonight, especially with this great class of inductees. Brian, Jamie, and Dustin, what an honor it is for me to be inducted with you all. And Joe Bertagna for being awarded the Lester Patrick. Congratulations to all of you. It is amazing to be in your company. Hockey has given me so much. It helped me get into college at Brown University. First paragraph. Where I had some of the best times of my life. It has given me my career and an opportunity of a lifetime to coach at Boston College. It has helped me meet tons of amazing people, travel to so many places that I wouldn't have otherwise gone, and for all that, I'm truly grateful. I have countless people to thank along the way. But I did tell Brian that he could take a few of my minutes too, so just so we're all on the same page. My Boston College family. Tom Peters, you helped me start this incredible journey coaching in college. You took a chance on a young coach and gave me the confidence that I was ready for the role. John Haggerty, you've carried on the confidence in me, and I'm fortunate to have you as an administrator. Courtney Kennedy, first and foremost, jeez, a teammate and a friend. You challenge me to be better every day, and genuinely one of the best coaches I've ever been around. BC is lucky to have you, and so am I. Our staff at BC, Kate, Aaron, Russ, Emma, you guys work so hard day in and day out for our team. You put the team first, you sacrifice a lot. Thank you for all you do. We're also very lucky to be so close with our men's staff and program. Jerry, Brownie, and all of their staffs. I know Cav's here too, who we've been great partners to work with through all of my years at Boston College. And Blake James, who also is here tonight, thank you for believing in me and our team. We are so appreciative of your support. The former players and current players that I have coached at BC, I didn't know you guys were going to be here. I saw you coming up in that escalator and you shocked me. You have made my job easier. You have made such a positive impact on my life, and I am grateful for that. You have put in the work to help grow our program, and I am incredibly lucky to be a small part of the journey for each and every one of you. My coaches in the sports that I played growing up have helped shape who I am as an athlete and a coach. They helped me grow and learn to be a good teammate, to be a competitive player, and to help our team win in whatever way I can. I can't name them all, but a special shout out to my softball coach in high school, Harold Sachs, who helped me learn that no single player is above another, and that it takes a group working together and sacrificing self to win and be successful. Thank you, Digit Murphy, my college coach, who taught me that fighting for what is right is hard, but it is more than worth it. And thank you to Coach Smith, who believed in me, helped me be a better player, and continues to help me be a better coach. He also chose me to be one of the members of the greatest team I've ever been a part of, Team USA. Thank you for that. God, this one's gonna be tough. My teammates. The teammates I have had are some of the greatest gifts of my life. Despite my stiff arm to Coiner in the celebration of a win in overtime versus Canada in San Jose. I hope this finally clears the air and maybe we never see that video again. Although I have to tell you, I did show my team. We were working on celebrations when we score goals. I have been so lucky to have teammates that support me, care about me, and make me laugh. Many of them are still my best friends. I have learned from them, grown because of them, and become a better person because of them. I am up here because they believed in me and trusted in me. Thank you to my teammates from youth hockey to college to Team USA, with a special shout out to my 98 teammates. I love you guys like family. We have so many amazing memories, too many to recite here, but except for maybe the laundry one. I wasn't gonna put that in there. But plenty to continue to have reunions and talk about them. We have a great bond. What a great bond we have, and I can't wait to celebrate more anniversaries in the years to come with all of you. I want to thank my family, as I wouldn't be up here without them. As a little kid, I followed my big brother around. Trying to do everything that he did. He played baseball, I played baseball. He played hockey, I played hockey. But little did I know, following my brother around at 4 years old would lead me up to end up here. He was the one I looked up to and wanted to be like. And I had to keep up, or I would get kicked out of the street hockey games in the neighborhood. So I guess that's where I get my competitive edge. Still, one of the greatest moments I had as a hockey player is being pulled up from instructional, similar to Learn to Play, to my brother's Mite team. I didn't touch the puck, but it was great to be part of my brother's team. My mom and dad would drive us around to different rinks all over, and we loved it. They made every effort to be at as many games as they could, no matter what that took. They believed in me from the beginning, continuing to give me and my brother every opportunity that they could throughout our life. Sports, especially hockey, brought us together as a family. My dad would be over the moon. That I'm up here today. I wish he was here to see it. From when we were kids, my mom has always been one of the, thank you, teammate, has been the one who instilled confidence in us and helped us understand that with hard work, we can do anything we set our minds to. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for all the sacrifices you made for us over the years. To become who we are today, I can't ever thank you enough. My husband and daughter, you both mean the world to me and have loved and supported me through this coaching journey. You have given up a lot for me to do my job, and I wouldn't be able to continue to do this without you both by my side. I love you both. Cam, we love watching you do all the things you do, from singing and dancing. Emily, and Erica, you know what I'm talking about. To playing sports and loving the game of hockey that gave both me and your dad so much. I know you'll continue to reach for the stars, and you always make us proud. As a 14 or 15-year-old at USA hockey camps, I remember being in awe of the U.S. women's national team. That was the first time I think I saw them play live. However, at that time, my idol was Cam Neely, who was the left wing for the Boston Bruins. I wanted to play like him and be in the NHL just like him. What makes me so proud about our generation's journey in this sport is that now my daughter, who is a junior Eagle, U10, and a Needham Squirt, has females to look up to, from Team USA to the newly formed PWHL. She can look up to players like Megan Keller and Alex Carpenter. She can watch them on TV. She can go to their games. And fortunately, with my job, she can even call them friends. Quite honestly, she thinks Megan Keller and Haley Scroop are her besties. I hope our sport continues to grow, people see how great it is, and it continues to get the recognition that it deserves. Thank you, USA Hockey, Pat Kelleher, Dave Fisher for putting this event on, and thank you to the selection committee. I am truly honored to be inducted into the USA Hockey Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Next up, to help enshrine Jamie Langenbrunner to the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame from the class of 2005 and former Hobie Baker winner, please give a warm welcome to Lane McDonald. And now, let's look back at the extraordinary career of Jamie Langenbrunner.
Langenbrunner in, cutting to the slot, backhand shot, he scores!
Always a formidable presence on the ice, Jamie Langenbrunner was the 1993 AP Minnesota Hockey Player of the Year. Following that junior season, Langenbrunner was drafted 35th overall by the Dallas Stars. The right winger made his NHL debut 2 years later.
With Jamie, I think he just saw a lot of potential, a lot of upside, a lot of energy, great skater. He adapted pretty quick, and there really was no major hiccups on his development and everything. It was just kind of 0 to 100 right away.
Deep in the heart of Texas, the Stars are shining.
In 1999, Jamie Langenbrunner etched his name in hockey history when he helped lead the Stars to their first Cup win in Dallas, coming up clutch with 10 goals and 17 total points.
He was solid throughout the playoffs, very reliable for us, and consistent throughout the 2 months of playoffs.
Traded to the New Jersey Devils in 2002, Langenbrunner found himself in the race for the Cup again in 2003. He led the Devils that postseason with 11 goals, adding another championship to his resume.
I remember watching Jamie, and I used to just like his attitude and the way he kind of played. He always played hard and seemed to be in the middle of everything.
I knew as a defenseman, I knew how tough he was to play against. I knew he was a guy that there was just no shifts off. So I was excited to add him to our mix.
I was thrilled to have him as a teammate. He had experience behind him. He wanted to win, and you know, he had some unbelievable and big goals for us.
How about Jamie Langenbrunner? Wow, he is just too much in this playoff year.
Obviously, we accomplished the best thing that you can in the NHL, and we always have a bond together.
Throughout the 18 seasons of professional play, Langenbrunner minted 243 goals, 420 assists in 1,109 career games played. He served as the captain of the Devils from 2007 to 2011.
He was a leader. He was a player that could play any kind of situations, honestly. Could play on first line, second line, third line.
He made all the right decisions, wasn't afraid of any area of the ice, and it was very easy to play with him.
I liked playing with him a lot more than playing against him because he was a pest out there. He was a guy that could get under your skin, and he did it with skill.
Langenbrunner played one more season with the Stars and 2 with the St. Louis Blues before retiring in 2013. During his career, he also suited up in the red, white, and blue for Team USA, including twice in the World Juniors in '94 and '95, and a World Cup of Hockey in 2004.
I was very impressed with Jamie's style of play, his competitiveness, just his all-around game, to the point that when we did have some selections, which I had the good fortune to work with, the Olympic team, Jamie was certainly one of the prime candidates.
A 2-time Olympian, Langenbrunner played for the Stars and Stripes at the 1998 games in Nagano and served as captain of the 2010 team that earned a silver medal in Vancouver.
His veteran presence and the leadership and experience he had at that time was crucial to our team. We had to play a certain way in that tournament to be effective, and he was one of the guys who really set that tone.
When the stakes are raised, whether it's playoffs, whether it's international competition, you know what you're getting from Jamie Langenbrunner, and that's a coach's dream. You know he's going to make a big play, score a big goal, get in those dirty areas around the net because he was a competitor, because he was a physical player and strong around the net with good hands. And so he was going to be that guy that when you need that little extra, of course, he's going to bring that, and that's what he brought to Team USA for sure.
After Langenbrunner's on-ice career, he joined the Boston Bruins front office in 2015 as the team's player development coach, and in 2022 was named assistant general manager.
He just dove in to do anything and everything anybody asked of him, fully integrating himself into, an organization and decision-making process, and doing it without ego. For an accomplished guy that he is as a player, he's incredibly humble, family-driven, a really, really hard worker. And those are the things you value as an organization. I think the Boston Bruins are fortunate to have him.
He's a guy that a lot of players, teammates respected, and that's a great compliment. He scored big goals, made big plays, competed as hard as any teammate I've really had, and that's the highest compliment I can give a guy.
And now, joining the list of immortals who have left an indelible mark on the game of hockey in the United States, please welcome Jamie Langenbrunner to the United States Hockey Hall of Fame.
Fortunately, I got to grab some glasses here to do this. I'm not as young as a few of you. All right. First, I want to take a moment to extend my congrats to my fellow inductees, King Crowley, Burke, Dustin Brown, and Murph. Your outstanding contributions to the hockey world have left an indelible mark on our sport. Being recognized alongside such accomplished individuals is truly an honor for me. And I'm humbled to share this prestigious moment with you all. I had the honor of either playing alongside, competing with, competing against, or watching each of your careers. Your dedication, skill, and passion for the game has not only shaped the landscape of hockey, but has inspired countless others to chase their dreams. It's with immense gratitude and a profound sense of honor that I stand before you today as an inductee into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. As a young boy growing up in small-town northern Minnesota, less than 60 miles from the Hall, I was aware of its existence and amazed by the players, builders, that have their names enshrined. But at no time could I fathom that my name would be a part of that history. I was the kid who was too small. I didn't skate all that well, even though Mo might have said I was a good skater. I think he's nuts. And if I'm being a fair evaluator of my talent, I wasn't overly skilled either. What I did have was a competitive fire and a passion to be the best that I could be. I was also probably stubborn or naive enough to not know that I was too small, not that good of a skater, or overly skilled. I also had an amazing support system and people along the way that saw beyond the reasons I couldn't play and saw the reasons I would. I may be the one standing here, but I can guarantee you this. This is not a journey I did on my own. The support I received throughout my career and in my life is why I'm here today. I first want to express my gratitude to my parents, John and Patrice. They're over here today. Your sacrifices, encouragement, and love have been the foundation upon which my dreams were built, introducing me early to every sport and activity and allowing me to choose what my path would be like. The countless hours you spent driving me to the rink, the fields, and everywhere in between. The personal time you gave up so I could play in this tournament or that tournament. The emotional support when I would come home from a loss and probably not be the easiest person to deal with. The supporting my decisions on a path that may have gone a little different than was the original plan. Mom, allowing me to be a tad superstitious and make my omelet for me on game days. Or there with a hug when I came home after a disappointing game. Dad, the words of wisdom I still think of in my head today. There is no substitute for hard work. I always felt your guys' unconditional love and support, and for that I am so grateful. I am not standing here today without you two and all that you sacrificed for me. To my brothers, Shane, Ryan, and Matt, who all came here today with their families and their wonderful wives. Our friendly and not so friendly competition is the beginning of all of our competitiveness, which is still alive and well till this day. Thank you for your support throughout and the unbreakable bond that comes with being part of our family. Your support has been unwavering, and I'm grateful to have you by my side. You've all been there through the highs and the lows. You're an amazing group of men, and I'm very proud and thankful to have you in my life. Youth hockey in Minnesota, especially in small-town northern Minnesota, doesn't happen without the countless number of volunteers. From my youth coaches, Don Limeron, Sherm Lehmantynen, to the Zamboni drivers, concession stand workers, referees, and numerous others. Thank you for making possible for myself and countless number of kids to have access to playing our great game. To my high school coach, Tom McFarland, your belief in me as a player, willingness to push me to be the best version of myself, never allowing me to take the easy way out, teaching us lessons on respect and work ethic. These stayed with me throughout my entire career. To this day, I'm extremely careful not to move during the national anthem, as this was a rule of ours that we even practiced. Bob Gainey, Les Jackson, Craig Button, Ken Hitchcock, and the entire Dallas Stars organization, thank you for believing in me and giving me a chance to prove that I could play in the National Hockey League. To my teammates in Dallas, thank you for teaching me what it meant to be a professional, how to demand the most of yourself, and strive for excellence each day. Lou, and the entire New Jersey organization, thank you for allowing me to continue to grow as a player and support my family as we transition to a new life. I will always remember your words, Lou. We just need you to be you. This was something I needed to hear at that time, at a point in your career after being traded where you're doubting yourself. You're doubting your ability and questioning where you are. This gave me the confidence to be myself and to value myself again as a player. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. Doug Armstrong and the St. Louis Blues, thank you for trusting me as a leader to help instill some of what I was taught by the great leaders in both Dallas and New Jersey to a young St. Louis organization on the brink of turning the corner. Feeling valued in that way at the end of my career meant more than you know. Don, Cam, Charlie, all my Boston colleagues that are here today, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on a team again, to continue to compete for the championships and be part of our great game. Your friendships and willingness to push me in my second career has not only been greatly appreciated, but it's truly been an honor to work with all of you. USA Hockey, one of the greatest honors you can have as a player is to play for your country on the international stage. I was fortunate to be included in that a number of times, and each time it was a wonderful experience in its own way. Thank you for providing these experiences and continuing to work to make our game accessible to everyone. Ron Wilson, I don't think it was a coincidence that you were a coach of 3 of those things I was on. When a coach likes you, take advantage of it, players. Being named captain of the 2010 team is one of my greatest individual honors, and I can't thank you enough, Brian, Ron, Lou, and the staff that selected me for that. I've been truly blessed to have a lot of wonderful teammates, coaches, and support staff throughout, and could not make this speech in less than a full hour if I were to thank them all. But we were supposed to go 10 minutes, even though Brian went way over it, and I'm just going to talk about a couple of them. Jay, you're here. Zach Parisi, who was unable to make it. 2 of my greatest teammates in New Jersey. Your energy and passion for the game re-energized my career when I got to New Jersey. Your work ethic and dedication to the game was a pleasure to watch, and I thank you for your continued friendship. Joe, my line mate, my roommate, my mentor, and one of my dearest friends. It's always been someone I've truly admired, not only in the way you played the game, but the way you carry yourself off the ice. Your friendship means the world to me, and I can't thank you enough for all your support. In the post-career chapter, the importance of a strong support network becomes even more apparent. Kevin and Steve, you've been pillars of strength during this transition. Your guidance and friendship transcends the boundaries of the game. Your wisdom and ability to hear what I'm saying and give feedback that's not only constructive, but honest in what I need to hear. Maybe not just what I want to hear. Your friendship and support have been huge for me, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be out here today. To my wonderful wife, Elizabeth, we've been on this journey together for quite a while now, dating back to junior hockey days when you didn't know what offside was, understand why they would try to hit me into the wall. From the beginning, you've supported me so that I could chase my dream, showing complete selflessness, telling me I'd be crazy to not jump on the plane to go to Nagano for the Olympics, despite being 9 months pregnant. Moving around the country with 3 kids in tow, even after just giving birth to our youngest. Continually supporting me throughout the difficult times during my career and loving and supporting me after my career when I wasn't my best self. Your ability to raise our children and support them as they chase their dreams is truly remarkable. I'm so blessed to have you in my life these last 26 years and look forward to our journey together the rest of the way. To my beautiful daughter, Lane, thank you for waiting until I got back from Nagano to be born. I'm so proud of the young woman you are, your competitive spirit, ability to push me to be a better version of myself every day, your willingness to lean into the uncomfortable and never settle for anything less than you deserve. It's inspiring to me. To my son Landon, thank you for being you. Your free spirit and willingness to chase your own paths are truly amazing. I love your big heart and compassion. You've always pushed the edges, whether it was with playing hockey or with your music, and continue to show me how to be comfortable in my own skin. I love that about you, and I'm so proud of the man you are. And to my son Mason, although you might be bigger than me now, you'll always be our little baby. Your willingness to push yourself to the highest, whether it's aiming high academically, he goes to Harvard there with Teddy, in case no one missed it. Proud papa moment. I did tell him I turned Harvard down, but it's all right. I'm amazed by your determination and sacrifice to try and accomplish your goals. Your presence is a joy to everyone you meet, and I can't be prouder of the young man you are. This journey has been a family affair, and each one of you has played a major role in shaping not only my career, but also the person I am today. To my parents, my brother, Elizabeth, Lane, Landon, and Mason, thank you for being the heart and soul of this adventure. Your sacrifices, your support, and your unconditional love have given me career purpose and show me what is truly important in life. We've ridden the wave of some amazing highs, but also experienced some deep lows. But together we've come through it, and for that I feel truly blessed. To everyone here today, and to the hockey community and fans who have been with me and the rest of us all through these journeys, thank you for this incredible honor. I am really excited to continue contributing to the legacy of this great sport. Let's keep the spirit of hockey alive and thriving for generations to come. Thank you.
I swear it's in alphabetical order. Help enshrine our final honoree, Brian Murphy. Please join me in welcoming from the class of 2017, our good friend, Kevin Collins. And now, please take a look at the screens to learn more about the Hall of Fame career of Brian Murphy.
Tonight, NHL linesman Brian Murphy will be celebrating his 2000th NHL game, becoming just the 8th official in NHL history to reach this milestone.
Brian Murphy's 2000th game in March 2019 was the culmination of more than 3 decades on the ice as an official in the NHL. A career that began as a youth and adult referee while attending the University of New Hampshire. In 1986, Murphy got his start as an NCAA linesman, officiating Hockey East games. eventually working Beanpot, Hockey East, and NCAA Frozen Four championship games. Having also worked the 1986 and 87 Olympic festivals, Murphy caught the eye of NHL officiating scouts, and by October of 1988, he made his NHL debut in Washington.
And we're ready to go with hockey season 1988-89 here at the Capitol Center. There are the referees for tonight's game. Dave Newell working with linesman Gord Rossiker, and 23-year-old Brian Murphy, who is working in his first National Hockey League game tonight.
By 1990, Murphy was promoted to full-time linesman, leading to more than 2,000 games.
Come on, boys, let's go. Let's work hard. Come on.
Only the second American to achieve that feat.
That's a lot of games in a short period of time. Congratulations to Brian Murphy.
Wow, imagine how many pucks he got hit with.
Brian Murphy has had an incredible career. He even was a referee for 88 games, one of the few people to be able to do both. He has been reliable, he's had integrity, he's been the consummate professional, and we've been lucky to have him in the game.
During his 32-year NHL career, Murphy was also selected to work several marquee games, including the 1999 All-Star Game and the 2010 Winter Classic.
You always knew that you could count on Brian to do an outstanding job when there was a really important game.
Receiving the NHL's highest working honor, Murphy was selected to officiate 9 Stanley Cup Finals and more than 300 playoff games.
Brian Murphy was a linesman, always reffing big games during the playoffs. And I remember I probably gave it to him a handful of times over my career. Wrong call, missed offside, missed icing, whatever it may be, but he was first class. He was always a real stand-up type guy. You don't ref over 2,000 games and be a linesman in the National Hockey League by accident. You're damn good at it, and he was damn good at it.
Murphy also officiated on the international stage, working the World Cup of Hockey in 2004 and 2016.
If he batted, it's a penalty. The puck's in the zone. So he changed the directional.
And he also worked the 2010 Winter Olympics. Off the ice, Murphy was a member of the NHL Officials Association Executive Board from 1994 to 1999, and later the president from 2008 to 2015.
In addition to the fact that he was respected by our teams and our players, he was also respected by his colleagues, which may be the highest form of praise.
He worked harder to get ready for a game than most people back when we first started. And even during the day, he'd have a wicked workout, and he'd come to the rink, whatever he needed to do to get his body ready. And then mentally, he was just laser focused every single night, and just a real good teammate to work the game with.
Having worked for 3 decades at USA Hockey officiating development camps, Murphy has also contributed to the future of officiating.
Murph recognized from his early days how important it was once you got to the NHL to give back to the game. At a very early stage of his career, he was giving back to USA Hockey, a real testament to Murph.
And now, joining the list of immortals who have left an indelible mark on the game of hockey in the United States, please welcome Brian Murphy to the United States Hockey Hall of Fame.
Wow. It's tough waiting around all night to finally get up here, but it's great to be up here. First of all, I'd like to thank Dave Fisher and Madison Brown. What an unbelievable job USA Hockey does with this event. I'd like to thank them. I'd like to thank the people that nominated me and the selection committee for this great honor. It's been a wonderful couple of days, and I'll never forget it. To my other inductees, you know, people always ask me what it is about NHL players, what makes them so special. And I always say they are the most competitive people I've ever met in my entire life. And Dustin and Jamie epitomize that. They are some of the most competitive people I've ever met in my entire life, and that's why they were successful. Katie King Crowley, it's pretty simple. I have 2 daughters. They played hockey when they were younger. They grew up wanting to be Katie King Crowley. It's as simple as that. And Burke, what can I say? He worked for the league, just an amazing person. And I honestly, you know, he talked earlier about what Gary and Bill has done for hockey in the United States, and he's 100% right about that. But I would add Brian Burke into that conversation. Nobody carries the flag for American hockey better than Brian Burke. Joe Bertagna, you will always be Mr. College Hockey to me, and nobody deserves the Lester Patrick more than you do, and that was a worthy recognition tonight, so thank you. Even though Burke ripped you anyway, but that's okay. I just want to tell you one story and then thank a couple people, and I'll try to keep it brief. But early in my career, I was flying up to Quebec City. Quebec Nordiques were in the league, and they had this small plane, and this airline from Boston, from Logan, flew up there. It's called Northwest Orient. They've since evolved into be Delta Airlines. But Northwest Orient, to tell you how small the plane was, I could not stand up in the plane. It was about a 12-seater. And when I got to the ticket counter at Terminal E that morning, they forced me to check my bags. And back then, we carry our equipment on the plane, so there'd never usually be an issue with your equipment. But they forced me to check my bags, and back then I wore glasses, and I had all my contacts in the bag and everything. And so I flew up to Quebec and landed, and you can imagine how small the airport is in Quebec City in 1989. And I get off the plane, and there's this little carousel, and there's no bags. And Berkey earlier was so right when he talked about where the league was at back then. They had no set of equipment for the officials at the rink. All they had was a jersey, an NHL jersey with no name on the back or anything. So Wally Harris was the supervisor, longtime referee. Wally and I go over to the rink early. The Blackhawks were playing there that night. Mike Keenan was coaching the Blackhawks. And so we go over to the rink early, and we go down and see Keenan and the Blackhawks equipment guys. And Keenan was very gracious. He gave me his sweatpants, his coach's sweatpants to wear in the game. Now, there's only one thing, the only one problem with that. I'm 6'3". Mike Keenan's not short, but he's not 6'3". But he said they had no extra black helmets. So we go to Quebec, and I remember the color of the Nordiques. They gave me a blue helmet, and it was like that first one I wore. Matt Sundin used to wear the helmet, blue bowling ball helmet they gave me to wear. And so I didn't have my contacts, so I wore my glasses. NHL jersey, Keenan's coach's pants, and Quebec gave me, Tony McKegney played for Quebec, they gave me a brand new pair of skates, which you can picture what a brand new pair of skates is like to go on the ice. But, so I go on the ice for the national anthem, and Keenan calls me over the bench, and he says to me, "Murph, you look ridiculous." So he says to me, "We're gonna get you a black helmet." Miraculously, in an hour or so, when he said he had no helmet, now all of a sudden I got a black helmet. So how I looked that night, though, was not the funniest part of the evening. So NHL security is just so great that they had the next plane from Boston was landing at 7 o'clock at night at the airport. And they had my equipment brought over the rink. So at the end of the second period, I come in the locker room. Both bags are sitting there, so I change into everything, put my contacts in, get my regular helmet on, not the one that was there, but, and I got jersey on, name on the back, and I go out for the third period. And Jacques Cloutier was playing goal for the Quebec Nordiques. And Cloutier, the first whistle of the third period, Cloutier made a glove save. And he's got the puck in his hand, and my partner that night was a gentleman named Ron Finn, who worked, I don't know, I think he probably would work 2,000 games. And he goes, hands the puck to Finney, and he goes, "Hey, Finney, How come they got rid of that local kid? He was doing pretty good. I want to thank the National Hockey League. I mean, working there 32 years, a gentleman by the name of Brian Lewis came and spotted me at a USA Hockey summer camp in Colorado Springs in 1986. And a month later after that, the U.S. Olympic Committee used to run this thing called the U.S. Olympic Festival. I'm sure a lot of you in the room are familiar with that. And that was in Houston, Texas that year, and a gentleman by the name John McCauley, Wes's dad, was the director of officiating at the time, came and watched me in Houston, Texas. 2 years later, they hired me in 1988, and I spent 32 years there. It was the greatest experience of my life. There's nothing else like it. It's the greatest league in the world. The biggest thing I want to say is I want to thank my teammates, the guys I worked with. They not only made me a better official, they made me a better person. The American Hockey League, gentleman, vice president back then was a gentleman named Gordy Anziano. Gordy gave me a chance to work in that league. Hockey East, what can I say? I've kind of bookended my professional NHL career with stops in Hockey East. 1986-87, gentleman by the name of Dana Henniger gave me the opportunity to work in the league. Lou Lamoriello was the commissioner. Lou reminds me all the time where I started, and he's 100% right. I'm very proud of that. When I retired in 2020 from the NHL, current commissioner Steve Metcalf gave me the opportunity to go back there and work. We have, I mean, Katie works on the women's side with the team, but obviously I work on the men's side. We have 11 institutions, administrators, coaches, players, officials. No disrespect to my friends in the ECAC and the Atlantic that are here tonight, but Hockey East is the best league in college hockey. USA Hockey, boy, where do I start? So Burke, you missed on the history lesson a bit though, okay? And it's interesting because, you know, you look at what some of the things that USA Hockey has done and things like the ADM model and the US national team that they have it used to be in Ann Arbor, but it's in Plymouth now, and so many great things and great programs that you create. Well, back in the 80s, they decided to create an officiating program. There was no real officiating program manager, and they hired a guy by the name of Mark Rudolph. Mark's here tonight. You know, he built the program. He was instrumental in, you know, I'm here tonight, but I feel like I'm just kind of the first wave of that program. And there's so many other people that are sitting back there, they've gone through the program, that they've had those same opportunities. They're working in the NHL. Some of them currently work in the NHL. Without Mark's leadership and guidance, Kevin Collins helped him greatly with the camps. Those two people are the reason why I give so much back to USA Hockey. My dear friend Terry Gregson, he's here tonight, ex-NHL referee. Terry told me one time, he said, Murph, you're not going to be remembered for how much you learned. You're going to be remembered for how much you taught. And those words are never true. And my second best friend, Lisa's got you beat, Z, sorry. My friend Scott Zelkin reminds me all the time that USA Hockey is built on volunteers, and that's why I'm there all the time. And you know, it's a privilege. There's so many, this staff here from USA Hockey officiating and RICs and everything, and you know, I'm privileged to the relationship I've had with them, and hopefully we're pushing the program to higher levels. I grew up in Dover, New Hampshire. My high school hockey coach, thank you. There's a bus here from Dover. My high school hockey coach was a gentleman by the name of Dan Raposa, and Dan was a Hockey East referee. When I got into officiating, I really just wanted to get in and do college hockey. My dad was a season ticket holder at the University of New Hampshire, and it was really all I ever wanted to do. I had no interest at all in being in the NHL. My first game was a Mite youth hockey tournament. A woman by the name of Barbara McDonough, her son John was here tonight. Barbara asked me to do this Mite tournament, and that was actually the first game I ever officiated. So I did start at the bottom. But no, Dan, through his guidance and leadership, I never would be here tonight or really achieved anything I did without him and motivating me to do it. Nobody grows up wanting to be an official. It's just the way life is. And, you know, it's interesting because you listen to Burke, And I say this all the time about coaches and GMs, that they never forget that big play that the officiating call cost them the game. Burke still will not forget 2010. And we got screwed. And it is. It's so. I did the 1988 NCAA championship game in Lake Placid, and I'm playing golf 20 years later with one of the coaches, and he didn't know I had done the game, and we're sitting there. We get up to like the 12th hole, and you know, and I talk to him like, yeah, I did the 1988 championship game, and he brings up an incident that happened in the game. Like, you guys never forget. You guys never forget. No, and so my dad worked for the phone company back when the phone company was landline, and there was only one of them. It was called AT&T. My mother loved ice skating, and together they built a rink in the backyard of my house. We had no rink in my town. We didn't have a rink in town until I was like 13 years old, and you know, so they built a backyard rink. Obviously, their guidance and leadership, I would never be here tonight. My dad passed away 20 years ago. My mother's 95. She's unable to be here tonight, but she's still going strong. My brother Mike is no disrespect to Bill Daly, because I think he's the hardest working person in the world, but my brother is the hardest working person that I know. And his type of guidance there, certainly, that was a nice trait for me to develop, is to be a hard worker. I met my wife, Lisa, at a university. I was working in the NHL at a University of New Hampshire hockey game at the old Snively Arena. I got this figured out. We've been married 33 years. And what I hate about these Marriott apps is they track everything, right? And on your phone, you track everything. So when I retired, I had 4,400 nights in a Marriott hotel. So that's roughly about 12 years of my life I spent in the hotel. I've got it figured out. We've only been married 21 years, and it's probably why we're still married. But no, in all seriousness, she is the better part of my life. Our daughters, Casey and Shana, are a direct reflection of her. And I will take no credit whatsoever for them, and everybody knows that. But no, I am so proud of them and the girls they've become. And you know, it's just it's all a credit to Lisa and everything she's done. So my last story, and this is it, and we can all go home, because I think it's wrapping up here pretty quick. But my first professional hockey game was an American Hockey League game in 1986 in Portland, Maine, Cumberland County Civic Center, the old Maine Mariners. Burke played for the Maine Mariners, right? What they called that then? Yeah. So Burke wasn't playing there then. 1986, Steve Tajura was the captain, and they had a tough guy named Archie Henderson. And Paul Dvorsky was the referee. Brad Whedon, who's sitting right over there, was the other linesman. And so Devo was getting ready to drop the puck to start the game, and before he does, Archie basically starts a line brawl before the whole game starts. So my parents never came. They only came to, I think, 2 games I've ever officiated in person in my life. They never traveled a lot. Thank God for the NHL to create the NHL Center Ice package, so they could. My mother watched every game, trust me, on the NHL Center Ice package. But they came to this game, and I saw my mother the next day, and she only had one question for me. She said to me, "Are you sure you want to do that?" Well, I laugh when I tell that story today, and I knew it long before tonight, but I guess I made the right decision. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you.
The absolute very best of our sport, Dustin Brown, Brian Burke, Katie King Crowley, Jamie Langenbrunner, and Brian Murphy, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame class of 2023. Also, again, a warm congratulations to Joe Bertagna, the recipient of this year's Lester Patrick Trophy. Now, as we leave and we close, a reminder, all current members of the Hall, please join us on stage for one big photo with the class of 2023. It has been a spectacular celebration. Thank you all for coming out to celebrate the greatest game on the planet. Good night. Get home safely. Thank you very much.
You can be the King Kong banging on your chest. You could beat the world. You could beat the war. You could talk to God, go banging on his door.
You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks.
You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you gon' find yourself.